morning and welcome to the program Perspectives on Invicta 98.9. Today, program Perspectives will be staying in Kaduna State. Yes, what are matters arising in the state and where are we with developments in the state. Kaduna, like we all know, is topping the list of states doing well in terms of its developmental strides. The World Bank itself has acknowledged that Kaduna comes first in ease of doing business. We also have some areas where Kaduna State had made its mark. Today, we're going to stay on an authority that is in the state, and an authority that's making sure that housing is for all. We all know that in whatever government does, it must take consideration of its people, providing shelter, providing protection, and providing ease of doing business in the state. That's part of the priority of government. Today, again, we're not left alone here. Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority. Now, that may sound a little strange to some people, but it's been on. And this authority is all out there to make sure that citizens of the state can, afford housing and all of that. We'll get to hear more, on how this, can be achieved. And with me in the studios this morning, I have Engineer Aliyu Yusuf Leri. He is the Executive Secretary, Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority. Engineer Aliyu Yusuf Leri, good morning. Glad to have you in our studios.
Good morning, Mr. Toy.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Sorry, part of correction. I'm not engineer. I'm Yahya Aliyu.
Oh, sorry. Yahya Aliyu. Okay. Yahya Aliyu. Yeah. Quick to correct that. Yahya Aliyu Leri is the Executive Secretary of the Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority. Yes, mortgage and foreclosure. The name, as soon as you hear that, you're talking about housing, you're talking about affordability of it and access to all of this. But again, in Kaduna State, what the state government, when it created this authority, Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority, what did the government, want to achieve with the creation of this authority?
Thank you very much, Tony Alabi. We thank God Almighty for giving us the opportunity to come to your popular radio station to express and make details, government programs, government efforts to make life easier for its people. As for Kaduna State, like you rightly mentioned, is the number one state in the east of doing business as started by the World Bank itself. Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority was actually established via a law passed by the State House Assembly in June 2017. It was primarily established to provide a creative environment for people to access mortgage facilities to buy houses of their own. I will get back to actually the reason why it was being established. The state government expressed interest in the federal government National Housing Finance Program, which was established about 4, 5, 6 years back with the intention, with the aim to find out what are the challenges that developers who wishes to build houses faces when they come to build houses in states and the federal government as well. And then what are the challenges that off-takers, buyers of houses that normally face? Because issue of housing is something that is very fundamental in human lives as a whole. So because of its critical importance, because after food, the next thing you want is shelter. So this program led to the establishment of a company, Nigerian Mortgage Finance Company, which is more like a central bank of mortgage institution, mortgage banks. They give funding, long-term funding for financing of mortgages to those mortgage institutions. So then they draft a law. They call it Mortgage and Foreclosure Law. This law was sent to all the 36 states of the Federation to domesticate. And if any state wishes to participate, any state that wishes to benefit from this program must domesticate that law. So Kaduna State is the first state in Nigeria, as I speak with you, to domesticate that law in June 2017. Before then, in March, the government signed an MOU with this company, Nigerian Mortgage Finance Company, so towards realizing this issue of housing affordability. And of course, the MOU entails that state governments that wishes to participate must ensure that they overhaul the certificate issuing authority in that state. That is here in Kaduna, we have colleges, because issue of title is a very fundamental issue when it comes to land. So as a developer, you come to the state and they give you acquire land, and if that land is not having proper title, so you end up wasting or losing your investment. By the time the authority found out that that place you are building your house is illegal, there's no proper certification. So that has been done as far as Kaduna State is concerned. And then where developers show interest to build houses in the state government must provide infrastructure, because developers, much as the government cannot do it alone, so equally developers cannot do it alone. They need support, So the government must provide roads, infrastructure, water, electricity. And as I speak with you, more than 20 developers have keyed into the state government PPP on housing policy, and they have been given allocated lands, hectares of lands, to build this house. This is another condition which any said that we should do this. And then, of course, the state went ahead to enact and pass the law, mortgage and foreclosure law. And by the foreclosure, it entails that when generally in this country or globally, even when it comes to issue of mortgages, issue of housing and whatever, and it leads to litigation, you can spend the next 1, 2, 3 up to 10 years litigation. But this law entails that if there's any litigation on the matters of land, housing, whatever, it must not last 100. It must not exceed 180 days. That means whatever litigation that may arise due to whatever, it must be adjudicated within a period of 180 days. So this is sort of a comfort to any investor that will come and invest in housing, because the investor will be less assured that at least his investment will not be in vain. Whatever it is, the government will be in support of it. And then another thing is, like I actually mentioned, because of this transparency and making things easier for any investor in Kaduna State, the same company came to Kaduna on the 3rd of October 2019 and signed a tripartite agreement. Nigeria Mortgage Finance Company, FHA Mortgage Bank, which is the primary mortgage bankers, and then the state government, to pull in the sum of 3 billion as a start towards the financing of these affordable mortgages, of course, at a single-digit interest. So that agreement was signed on the 3rd of October 2019. And then, of course, the agreement, there are some other things that each party will have to execute. And on the part of the Kaduna State government, of course, it has already overhauled its certificate issuing authorities, and then it has given land to developers who are building houses, and they are, also at the same time providing infrastructure, roads, electricity, and water. And then it was expected, the same institution even expected or requested the state government to issue what is called buyback guarantee. Because what they are saying is that in the event when they invest their money, they put their money, and then houses were purchased by people, and then along the line there are challenges, they cannot pay or whatever. Maybe about 500 out of 1,000 people, or 300 or 400 were unable to pay as the time goes by. So what happens? Because naturally, ordinarily, those loans will become non-performing. So they want a buyback guarantee, which in that instance, when that situation arises, they will call in the guarantee, and the state government will now buy off those houses from them and pay your money. So at least that's clear.
Well, we see all these aim towards owning a house, and again, very important that workers can own a house. But let's talk about what has to be in place for you to own a house in Kaduna State or under this arrangement.
Yes, you see, this is not like a replica of the federal government through the Federal Mortgage Bank.
Right.
But in this case, it is purely for Kaduna State residents. When we say resident, public servants and resident. Resident, whether you are working for the state government or not, you are eligible to apply. Whether you are working for the federal government, you can still apply. Whether you are working for private companies or bank or whatever, even if you are not even indigent of the state, so long as you are residing in Kaduna State. But that house, any property that you wish to purchase, must be within Kaduna State, which is fully certificated, all the necessary documents. unlike the Federal Mortgage Bank, this is that you can buy any house anywhere. But in this case, the house must be situated within Kaduna State. And everybody, so long as you are a resident in Kaduna, is eligible to apply. Of course, there are so many conditions, requirements, like you've seen there on that requirement. You need to buy the form. You need to account opening form for FHA Mortgage Bank, who the main partners, and then make some deposit of 50,000. And then when you complete the form, when you are returning, you have to attach a copy of the certificate of the house you want to buy. There must be the approved building plan or permission for that property, and then you attach your pay slip. If you are a salary earner, you are paid for 6 months and statement of account for 6 months. And if you are not a salary earner, you're working on your own, then you attach your statement for 1 year. Of course, there's a guarantor form which you equally complete. Of course, the other things are means of identification, utility bills, and then of course valuation, such which will be done by the FHA Mortgage Bank when things are completed. And the minimum repayment period is 5 years, up to 15 years, depending on your age. Because in the civil service, your retirement age is 60 years. So if you are 45 years or you are 50 years, whatever you are going to have, it must not exceed 10 years. Do you understand? So, of course, when we say 5 years or 10 years, you can still pay before then. Because if you have a loan of 5 years, you can pay within 3 years. Because after all, nobody wants to continue staying with the indefinite on the set. So when you pay off, we give you all your documents for the house.
Well, with this arrangement now, how exposed as residents, have they been on this arrangement? That is, again, when we look at it, one would say it's so beneficial to all.
Yeah.
But have we been all exposed to knowing that this, this arrangement can be obtained, by just getting the forms and filling what the requirements are? How are we, with the people about all of this that's going on?
In fact, that is one of the reasons we're even here. In your radio station to make public enlightenment, to enlighten people about even our existence. You'll be surprised. Of course, many people, like you mentioned, many are not even aware about the existence of this authority until now, when the announcer have been made. And we've been to various radio stations, KSMC, Nagarta, FSM, all over. And of course, it is all over in the social media. Even the Excellency himself has retweeted all these requirements, all the conditions in his own social media platforms, and many people are now aware. And we gave out numbers. They will have a website that you can call. You can go in and see information, and then there are about 6 numbers where somebody can call and get further information. As I speak with you, this is the second week we have started even selling the forms. People have been buying the forms in our office at Investment House, second floor, Alaikedo.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Again, what will come to mind is that we all know that how very important it is to own a house. But again, I am talking about the spread of it. Kaduna as it is, if we take Kaduna metropolis, for example, south, southwest, southeast, and of the state. Yeah. Now, this house, what are the spread of these houses? Because we do know that some are up there, that we can see some structures going on, but is it spread all over that we can say that, yes, it can be accessible to all?
You see, this issue of housing, it doesn't have to be the new houses that are being constructed. And by the law, the authority is supposed to be in the presence of every 23 local government headquarters. We'll be there. But even at that, the houses doesn't have to be the houses that are being built now. Anybody can have a house of his choice anywhere within the state. Not only in Kaduna, you go to Kapanchan, you go to Zaria, you go to Bindingwari, where in Saminaka, where in Kara, where in Akacha, Chukung, whatever. So long as that house follows all the due process before it was completed, and he must attach all the documentation. But it is just because it is easier and faster to reach out to developers who are building new houses. It's easier because the issue of documentation will not be that much, there wouldn't be much challenges. But it doesn't stop anybody from checking any house which he can be able to pay, because there is wanting to apply and then wanting to review your application and see your financial capacity. So even before you even submit your application, you must make sure that you can be able to pay for the house you intend to buy. Because by the assessment, that's why the request for pay slip and settlement of account. If your income in the monthly income is 100 naira, so the repayment for that house is only going to be 1/3. That's about 30 naira. The payment cannot be made for more than 30 naira, because because the house is being made affordable to you, it should mean that it should equally be made, I mean, in such a way that you pay through your nose. There has to be some remnant of the revenue or the income that comes into you for other domestic things for yourself. So you must make sure that the house you intend to buy, you will be able to pay for it.
What are we seeing the houses? I mean, we're talking about the developers now.
Yes.
What are the spread of the developers? How are we seeing them in all, all over? That one can say that I want a house in this area of this part of Kaduna.
Yeah. You know, like as I speak with you, more than 20 developers, to the best of my knowledge, since last year, I knew of more than 20 developers, as a report I received from Kadipa, have already keyed into this policy, and they've been allotted hectares of land to construct this house. In fact, some of them, about 3 or 4 months back, the governor has given directive for their allocation to be revoked. Those who have not been able to build more houses, because you are giving 50 hectares, 30 hectares, you want to build like 200 houses in 1 year, and after 1 year you only built about 20. So that we are not serious. So governor said, give directive. All those developers have been, we don't have time. This thing has been on since 2017, and this is the second tenure. So we want to see that this thing has taken effect. Despite that, like I said, not only those developers that came into the government projects, even other private developers that have not even came into the government projects. There are so many people that will build estate, maybe 10 houses here, 5 houses here. Even you, maybe you have some 2 houses of 20 DC. Everybody can come and approach you, and then you get documentation, allocation letter, come to us, we pay. The bottom line is everybody should have a house over a roof over his head. And by our thinking, by our calculation, by our hope, in the next 10 years, by 2030, we should be able to finance about 100,000 Kaduna resident houses through the merger institution. It's a tall order anyway, because this requires so many involvement, capital injection. And so we are making effort. The state government is making effort to invite other serious developers. As I speak with you, there's one company, EcoStone. They have technology to build house in 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, they will build a house. They are based in the US and even in, I think, Germany. So they were invited just early this year. They came, they made presentation, and even His Excellency saw it. He was so excited. In fact, he quickly directed that they should be taken to this Jele Abuja Road, where there's vast land near the African Steel Company, so that they can build a whole town there. As I speak with you, they build more than 300 of such houses for Lagos State. So if such a company would build, if for Lagos State to have accepted such a company, you know that it's not a joke. And the houses are houses that can last 100 years. If depending on the weather, if the weather is hot, that house when you enter, the house will be cool. And if the weather is cold, by the time you enter the house, it will be warm. And there are 2 bedroom, 1 bedroom, depending on whatever choice the second wants it to build. So unfortunately, the process was ongoing when this pandemic just set in early March. But nonetheless, even us, we were supposed to start this since early this year. We are almost starting when the pandemic broke out. But despite that, we continue discussion with our partners through the virtual Zoom meeting and whatever before arriving at this requirement. So the door is open for everybody, so long as eligible to apply within Kaduna State. Housing must be within Kaduna State, fully certificated and documented.
Well, this for me is a big one for Kaduna State. Again, we must commend the effort of the government of the state for making life easy for its citizens. It is for all. It is not just for indigents. We're also told that residents and everyone that is in Kaduna State can, key into this. And of course, it's a novel one. And we're looking at how we can make housing affordable for all in the coming years, and this is done by government of Kaduna State. The program is Perspectives this morning, and we're looking at owning a house in Kaduna State. You must have your thoughts about it and what efforts you can do. What are the things that you need to do, and all of that. Questions can come, to our guest in the studios this morning, who is the Executive Secretary of Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority. We're talking about Madam Yaya Aliu Lire, who is here with us. We'll go for a break. When we come back from this break, we'll continue. Welcome back. It's the program Perspectives this morning on Invicta 98.9. And we're looking at owning a house in Kaduna State and the ease of doing business in the state. And of course, we have with us in the studios the Executive Secretary of the Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority, Aliu Lere, with us, and they're shedding more light on what we need to do. I was just looking at it in terms of what must be put in place or what the requirements, and I was looking at is this favoring the formal sector? I'm talking about those that are working with the state government than the informal sector, because again, for those in the formal sector, we can always get access to the things we have to get to know about them. But for the informal sector, how this is convenient?
Well, like you rightly mentioned, because it is informal, that is why it's a little bit inconvenient.
Okay.
In the sense that the documentation requirement differs. Because you in the informal sector, you are on your own, you need to bring a guarantor. You see, most of these programs, want state governments or generally that brings out, nobody intends, it's just like bank loan. No bank, even though they collect security, but no bank will want to fall back to that security. It always wants the relationship to finish peacefully without any resort to litigation. So the guarantor, the informal sector, they need to provide guarantor because they are in the informal sector. No much is known about them. Okay. Even though when you talk of Kaduna State population, there are almost 10 million. And after that 10 million, it's not everybody that's working. Not everybody, maybe 20-30% of the population that are working, salary earners. The rest of 70% are living on their own. Other farmers, traders, manufacturers, and whatever. So they cannot be excused from this, from benefiting to this. After all, government is for everybody. So you can see the generosity and the open-mindedness and the political will of the leadership, because the state government has the political will. The governor of Kaduna State managed for even to be the first in Nigeria. You can imagine beating Lagos, to be the first in Nigeria to sign MOU with this company, to sign tripartite agreement, to pass the law, to establish the authority. Only 3 weeks or so, Ogun passed the law. So that is the political will. So it's for the citizens of the state to equally reciprocate and appreciate the political will of the government by even bringing the program, so that they should equally accept it in good faith and ensure that they follow whatever process that they are supposed to follow to make this work, so that they will benefit. Otherwise, the NMRC and the FHA management, why didn't they go to Kano or go to Niger or go to Kebbi or go to Zampara or go to Oyo or Oshun to say, okay, come, we'll support you? Because they didn't follow what they wanted in the first place by even accepting to domesticate the law, signing MOU, do whatever they should do. As has people do, even the contribution of the state government has already been made almost 4-5 years ago. 4-5 months ago. 1 billion contribution for the state government. It has been there. So you can see how serious the state government is to assist to make this thing work. So it's for the citizens to equally reciprocate and make sure that it works. So after all, whether we are informal or formal sector, you can't go to the market and just if you enter the market now, you can't see on the faces, this one is salary earner, this one is a businessman, this one is no, everybody is equal as far as it depends on your pocket. So if you want to benefit, you should equally do some sacrifice. That's why there must be equity contribution. You must make equity contribution. It's something that, okay, a house of 10 million you bring, and they say, okay, bring 2 million. At least something is, the rest 8 million you pay in 5 years or even 10 years. At least, even if you have the 10 million, that money you use it for another thing again. So you can see there's so many value. And you see, housing, when you take up issue of petroleum and you take up issue of agri, housing construction is one of the biggest sector that boosts economy of a society, state, or even the country. Because by the time you are building houses today, building one house, you'll be assured that at least it will create job opportunity for the youth, about 5 to 10 of them. So, and the economy of that locality will equally be boosted. At least the sellers of iron sheet, the sellers of sand, the sellers of cement, the sellers of nails, all building materials, they equally have markets. Even ordinary pure water seller and fruit vendor, they will go there and they will benefit. When you're talking of building 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 houses, it's a lot of things. And then for people to even, for you to have shelter of your own, not renting, is something that gives you in your life some psychological satisfaction that you achieve something in your life. At least you go to the house, this is my house. So that's alone, it gives you that comfort that you even think better, you act better, and you even your psychology, your prestige, you feel you have something. So that's it. That is the reason why the governor, due to his visionary leadership and thinking, went ahead all the 36 states of the federation, all the 6 governors, and be the first person to enter this program, which by the grace of God, it shall succeed.
Okay. Well, again, coming back down to requirements, on the part of potential homeowners. These requirements must be made, for us to how easy we can access, these loans, and of course, what government has put in place. What are the requirements on the part of potential homeowners?
Well, like I said earlier, you have to even open an account with the bank, partners, FHA Major Bank, by obtaining a form, and then buy the form, the loan application form, which is 5,000, and then the account opening form is the initial deposit of 50,000. And don't forget, I want to make it clear that, categorically clear that, the financing of these mortgages are only for completed buildings, completed houses. No issue of somebody bringing land, see my land, give me loan to, no. Or I've started my building, it's up to linter level, give me loan, no. It must be completed building. Unlike the Federal Major Bank, who in fact they give renovation loan even. But this is a new scheme that it's more like a pilot scheme for all the state of the federation. It hasn't, let it start first, and as time goes by, there may be changes, just like we mentioned in the requirement, that the requirements are subject to change from time to time. But for now, we're only concerned about financing mortgages for completed buildings alone. No issue of land, no construction, no nothing. Only completed buildings that have duly certificated.
Knowing the Nigerian way of doing things, do we have a situation where, since they are completed buildings, one can buy, just buy off government, because it's saying that people can own these houses by not by paying instrumentally, that we have. Can people that can afford it just buy off these houses?
Then you don't need to come through us. If you can afford, you pay cash down. You don't need to come to us now. Coming to us for what? We are assisting people to buy so that they can pay over a period of time. If you can pay off, you don't need to come to us. Do you understand? After all, the emphasis will be more on low and medium income earners, not people who have chopped plenty like you. So because they are the most needed, they are the ones that needed this the most. So 2 million, 1 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 6 million houses. Even though there's even a limit, you can borrow up to 50 million. That is the limit. You can borrow up to 50 million. And for anybody to say anybody that wants to buy a house and you borrow 50 million, he must be having so many houses. No two way about it, because you can't be as beginner and then you go and say you want to buy a house. You borrow 50 million, including, this is even excluding your own contribution. But the emphasis for now, honestly, we would rather prefer, instead of giving you 50 million, no, you can apply and get the 50 million if you qualify, of course, no problem. But at least we would rather prefer to say, instead of giving one person 50 million, let's get some 10 or 15 people with 5 million application, or 3 million houses to buy. That is even better. And don't forget, we are waiting. I mean, this scheme is something that everybody is interested, including the World Bank itself, because World Bank support NMRC. So they want to see this started, because when it succeeds, the entire state of the federation will equally key in, and that will boost the economy of the country, and of course it will create job opportunities for millions of youth. And like I said earlier, the state government cannot do it alone. There have been discussions with other financial institutions. Just typical one that I know, like this Shelter Africa. If you know of any company, Shelter Africa, they are based in Kenya. This is an institution that is co-funded by 44 African countries. and Nigeria is the third largest shareholder, but Nigeria has never benefited. So we are in discussion with them. They were brought. We had a meeting with them just prior to this pandemic, and discussion is still going on. So by the time the state government is lucky, is lucky to have a such discussion with them. I think we're taking a minimum of $10 million into the housing sector. Again, due to this pandemic, I'm sure you're aware, the federal government through the central bank, they have made a promise to inject 500 billion into the housing sector due to the pandemic. And you know, so many governments, not only in Nigeria, all over the world, they have given some palliatives, you know. And even here, the central bank has directed commercial banks to extend moratorium of loans that have been given. You know it. So, and now they're injecting this 500 billion into the housing sector. And we made passionate appeal. I attended the meeting that this season was discussed, and I suggested that, okay, if this palliative of 500 billion that is coming from the central bank, a part of it should be channeled to state government that have passed merger and foreclosure law, because this shows that that state is serious. So at least even if they give 10 or 20 billion out of it, I mean, it will go a long way. Now that the state government has only contributed 1 billion, when we get 10 billion, you know, it's not a small thing. A lot of people will be able to achieve even maybe more than the 100,000 residents that we feel they should have houses through this mortgage financing, and more are coming anyway.
Okay, right. Again, the time we go to the people, go to the audience now, get your thoughts and get your questions too. This is a pass mark for Kaduna State. Of course, we know that the World Bank has given Kaduna State a pass mark on ease of doing business, and of course, we see the strides of government in making sure, you know, that the dividends of democracy, you know, gets to the people. We're talking about owning a house now, and then we're talking about what government of Kaduna State is doing about it through the, you know, Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority, headed by its executive secretary, Yaya Aliu Liri. We'll take your calls now, and what questions you want to ask, your comments on numbers 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. You can own a house, you know, that's what this is all about. So we're taking your calls now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How is work?
Work is good.
Yeah, it's a welcome development. We appreciate what government are doing in our state.
Your name, please?
Yes, Johnson Emmanuel.
Johnson, all right.
Yes, sir. So all we need the fair and treatment on this world, that everybody should look to acquire a piece of land or a house.
Okay.
So, and it's a good one.
Okay, it's a good one, right, Johnson? Thank you on that. Still taking your calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Abdullah Farouk calling from Bandar Kaduna.
All right, Abdullah, let's hear you.
Yeah, my question goes to your guest. I'm a civil servant, but I get to hear this kind of position on a private media station. I'm asking, why don't you propagate more of what you do? I mean, what your establishment does to a forum where other civil servants can benefit. A forum like, can't you set up a seminar? Can't you give us more options to know what you are doing than only via the media? Like I was just opportuned to, on my radio on Invicta and get this information. If other civil servants don't use this medium, how can they beneficially get how can they maximize the benefit of what you are doing?
Okay,
can't you create one medium for civil servants to get to know what you are doing?
Okay.
And,
got you.
Thank you very much.
I got you on that. Okay, still take another call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Jamil. I'm calling from Ghana.
Jamil, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mm.
Good morning to your guest. There was a time I was saying things like that. If Kaduna State government can bring something like this, and I applaud them for that. But I will say, for them to cut off bottlenecks and all that, why not put it online? When you apply, you should apply it online. You can pay the money through online. It should be a digital thing. Not all this, you should go and meet somebody and all that. There will definitely be what they call like bribing and corruption in all these kind of things. I will advise let it be a digital thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Jimmy. Okay, we'll take one more and we'll come back to our guest. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This is Chima.
Okay, Seaman, all right.
This is a laudable development. But hello, sir.
I'm with you. With you.
My question to the executive secretary is this: looking at the pay of the civil servant, especially the state civil servant, what provisions that can be made again that will make it more? Yes, he said that we have to pay some sacrifice. I agree. But looking at their pay of the civil servant, what are the provisions again that will make it a little bit mild for them to own a house?
All right. Okay, we'll get you on that.
The second question is this: those that are on a federal civil servant, are they also eligible to apply for it, or just the state civil servant?
Okay, I can answer that. Yes. Yeah. But let's come to our guest. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me start with the last questions. Of course, we say applicants eligible is open to everybody, so long as you are residing in Kaduna. Whether you are working for the state or not, you are eligible to apply. And then the question, suggestion by Jamil from Berna or Ngonsanusi about making this thing online. Yes, this is just the start of this scheme. And I'm sure Malan Jamil, you'll agree with me, it's not everybody that is digitally proficient. From Kapanchan to Binangwali to Ikara to Lere to Chukun to Zaria, it's not everybody. That's the bottom. That is true. But with time, this is going to be made much more simplified. As I speak with you, even the account opening form, because it's such volume and send about 4 or 5 pages. Even the bank is trying to make it better in the sense that it makes maybe like just 2 or 3 pages maximum, so that you don't need to be filling so much thing. So the issue of online is something that is in the pipeline, and it's not something that can be done just from the beginning of this scheme to apply online. We haven't reached that stage yet, and you agree with me why. Secondly, the first question, Mala Abdullahi from Berna, who talked about why can't you make this sense everybody to know? You just joining the Invicta. We are just for coming to Invicta is one of the ways that we are making to enlighten the general public about the existence of this authority and what we are doing. As I speak with you, Man Abdullah, we have been to most of the radio stations, Nagarta, KSMC, Freedom, FRCN, and it's just starting because we just started this thing 2 weeks ago. And 1, 2, we have written letters to all the ministries in Kaduna State, all the ministries, all government offices, everywhere with the flyer. So this is being circulated. 3, we have posted this in the social media, which is even the easiest way that somebody can access it, either in Facebook or in Twitter, in our website. Even His Excellency, the governor himself, has retweeted this information to so many people on the media. So if you can't see it in Facebook, at least you will see it on our website. And it's something that has been, of course, everybody with KDSG email has gotten a letter with this with attachment of this requirement. Every Kaduna student that has email of KDSG, he has gotten this information. So as far as for the civil servant are concerned, there's no issue on that. It is only maybe the other general public. But for the civil servant, virtually everybody, 99% of these are aware of this program. We have been talking about this since last year, even before we commenced. Even when the tripartite agreement was signed, we started making announcement of what is happening, how the authority was established, why it was established. Now a tripartite agreement has been signed. We are working towards implementing or starting the scheme, and we almost concluded in February, March, when the pandemic just came in. So the scheme is ongoing, so everybody can come to our office and apply. Okay.
All right, we still can take one or two calls before we bring it to a close. Still with hello, good morning.
Buba Umar.
Good morning, Buba Umar. Okay.
Yeah. Unlike Pani and Freddy, one of the biggest mortgage
Hello,
we
Buba.
are seen in Kaduna. Hello, sir.
Okay, let's hear you.
Now, what we were seeing in Kaduna is those small vulnerables are not among the targets of beneficiaries of mortgages in Kaduna State. And there is one observation that I made, that Kaduna, we are more of expanding. We don't work on land economy, but we are opening up. We don't reserve land for other uses. Now, what are your organization doing towards seeing we reserve land for other activities? And relatively, about the access of these homes, if we are to sincere to ourselves.
Oh, Buba Umar. Okay. We didn't get you there. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Sonia Ladi.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guests.
Morning.
Very welcome development in Kaduna State. We appreciate it. But I join you people late, please. Can you just tell me the minimum amount that somebody will get before getting that house? Just the minimum. What is the minimum and the highest money? So that is my question.
Okay, I think I'll join your question with the last caller who mentioned, who asked and advised that how do we make easier for low-income earners. There is no minimum. I believe there's no house that will be sold at 5,000, but the maximum is 50 million. So the other caller that mentioned that advice, how do we make it easier for low income? This is a scheme that is even more concerned with the low and medium income earners. Because you are a low income earner, that is the reason why you should go and get a house that you can pay. That you know that you can pay. Because you are on level 4 or level 5, level 7, you can't go and get a house that somebody who is on level 15 is supposed to have able to pay that. You can't go and do that. So you should cut your code according to your size. There is a house of 1 million. You can get a house of 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. And we are talking of even 50 million. So the options are numerous. So it's left to you. But one thing I want to emphasize is that this scheme is not purely being carried out or being exercised or executed by Kaduna State government alone. It is a joint partnership with other institutions that have professionalism in what they are doing, and that's why they have been asking the state government to bring this, sign the law, sign MOU, pass the law, establish the authority, sign tripartite agreement, give us executive council approval, give us buyback guarantee. All this, where is your contribution? All this has been done. So the society, of course, we cannot all be the same. There is low income earner, medium income earner, and high income earner. So everybody should apply according to his own size of his pocket. You bring a house of 3 million, or you bring a house of 5 million, and say, okay, maybe bring 5% contribution, which is just 250,000. I don't think there's a assistant that is more than this. Just 250,000 of a house of 5 million, assuming, which is 5% equity contribution. That is even fair. And more so, we're extending, the state government is extending the benefactors of this scheme, not only the civil servants. Even if you are a federal civil servant, but you are residing in Kaduna, you are entitled to apply. We are talking of even if you are not working. We are talking of even if you are not even indigenous. No, because I'm indigenous. No. There's this is a very laudable initiative by the executive governor for having the political will and to do this, and the government has done all it can in terms of this agreement. It has fulfilled all its requirements. We are only waiting for the people to put in the applications.
Okay, be my last caller. I'll just take this one last call. Hello, good morning.
Morning. My name is Benjamin.
Benjamin.
From Nare.
Okay,
I
from
want
Nare.
to know the address, location of the office.
Okay.
Okay, we are located on Lake Ilu Investment House, second floor, and there are even some numbers that somebody can call to make inquiries. Maybe we have a bureau I can send it to you, 09031829391, 09031829391, and there is 09082884197. You can also visit our website, cardmortgage.kdsg.gov.ng, and then we are on Twitter too at Card Mortgage. You get information. But meanwhile, you can come to our office on Alike Ilu, number 27, Investment House, come floor, and buy your form.
Okay. All right. Just before we go, let's hear your last line on this laudable project.
Yes, my last line of advice is for the people of Kaduna State, whether civil servant or not civil servants, to always give support to whatever initiative government brings for the benefit of the people. You should always have a positive mindset on everything, not even on your personal life. Everything you intend to do, you should have a positive mindset. And then secondly, we should all be prayerful to our leaders. Not abusing them or castigating them is the solution. No, whatever we should always be praying for our leaders to succeed. Because when our leaders succeed, of course, the society is better for it.
And that will just be about the size of it on Perspectives today. And looking at it, we looked at the Kaduna State Mortgage and Foreclosure Authority, headed by its Executive Secretary, Yaya Yusuf Leary, as the ES, and getting more of owning a house in Kaduna State and what government of the state has put in place to make it easy for everyone to own a house. We thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And Prince Ehenacho, thank you for connecting us with the people. We'll come back with Perspectives tomorrow. Good morning.
Invicta FM.
Salamu alaikum malama. A bani man girkin Power Oil na mazubin leda. A kustoma, ai wannan yayi girma.
Wannan shine sabon man girkin Power Oil na mazubin leda, kuma ai masa karin kashi 10 ciki.
Kashi 10?
Wannan haka yake, kuma ina kiran shi da Power Oil Jara. Ga kuma sauƙin mallaka.
A gaskiya ina son wannan Power Oil Jara din. Sai man girkin Power Oil da aka yi wa karin kashi 10 ciki a dukkanin shagunan da ke kusa da kai akan farashi naira 60 kacal. Power Oil domin lafiyar iyali.
Power Oil.
Aha! Albishirinku ga labarin wata garaɓasa mai daɗin ji na taho muku da ita. Za a iya samun kyautar gigabyte ɗaya da naira 500 na lokacin kira akan duk sabuwar layin 9 Mobile. Sai sabon layin 9 Mobile ka buɗe ka saka shi a wayarka. Ka samu gigabyte ɗaya ta data da lokacin kira na naira 500 nan take. Sakamakon cajin lokacin maganar ka ta farko. Za a kuma more kimanin garaɓasan kashi 100 na duk tsarin datar wata-wata da aka saya na tsawon watanni 12 masu zuwa. Kar ka jira ko na sakan ɗaya. Ziyarci cibiyar kula da kastoma ta 9 Mobile mafi kusa. Ka samu layin kai ma ka hauro zuwa inda ake more rayuwa.
9 Mobile. Now it's time to beat the competition.
98.9
Invicta FM.
Hello, this is Adele.
Get all of today's best music here.
98.9
FM.
Invicta 98.9 FM, and the program you just listened to is Perspectives, brought to you right here on this dial, the Victoria Side of Life, 98.9 Invicta FM. Tony Alabi was your host, and I'm hoping that you got something from that one, learning and understanding what it feels like, what it means to get a mortgage in Kaduna State. That's good stuff. Commendable rather. Stay on this side